Welcome to the 2026 Dialogue, a masterclass series by the HR Association of India. I am Neha Jagdani, and today's session focuses on a theme that is reshaping how organizations approach inclusion, not as a moral imperative alone, but as a strategic advantage. Our topic for today is from awareness to advantage, making DEI a strategic growth lever. To help us explore this shift, we are joined by Sumit Agarwal. Sumit is a global DEI advisor to Fortune 500 organizations and a recognized trailblazer in the DEI space. As an SDG ambassador of diversity and inclusion and a mentor of change with Niti Aayog, he brings a rare combination of empathy, structure, and innovation to his work. Known for his use of Lego, serious play, design thinking, and visual facilitation tools such as moth cards and liberating structures, Sumit has conducted over 350 sessions globally. A UN certified inclusion expert and motivational speaker, he's widely respected for translating complex DEI concepts into practical, actionable strategies that enable inclusive leadership and sustainable organizational impact. Sumit, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure having you, as always.
My pleasure, Neha ji. It's always a pleasure to be a part of HRAI discussions.
Thank you so much. So I look forward to this exciting masterclass, Sumit.
Sure.
So to begin with, my first question for you is, why do many organizations talk about inclusion but struggle to embed it into day-to-day decision making?
So there are two aspects to it. One is when you talk about inclusion, you talk about it as something which looks good, right? Most of the companies look at the PR aspect of inclusion, right? Will it look good on the company? Will it look good on reports? Will it look good on in the social media? How many likes will the post get? How many impressions and eyeballs will it draw? And then again, is it again something which is a priority to my shareholders? Are they looking at this, right? So inclusion now also is looked at from a CSR lens, not from a DEI lens where inclusion becomes a performance driver. If you look at a report which was released by a certain organization a few months back, it still states that private sector only employs 1% of people with disabilities, and the number of working women for private sector has gone down as compared to previous years.
Okay.
So there might be several reasons behind this. I'm not getting into that detail. That's a separate question altogether. But again, coming back to the discussion that if DEI and inclusion needs to be something which is substantial, it has to move from paper to being something which is performance driven. And that is something which is going to drive inclusion forward.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. So basically, a lot of organizations, as you rightly said, focuses on the look and feel of the numbers and diversity. But if the focus is shifted from that to how it will add value to the business goals, I think it will create much more impact in the DEI space. So
So
thank you so
basically, it's a culture shift. So
much.
basically, it's a culture shift where it actually drives it. If it's for the disability month or if it's for the pride month, and if you do it only for that particular month, I don't think that is called performative DI. That is just for showing people.
Right, right, absolutely. So moving on to our next question, Sumit, which is, in your view, what separates performative DEI initiatives from those that actually drives business and culture outcomes?
So, if I look at it that way, right, if you are looking at business outcomes, tie the bonuses of the business executives or the C-suite leaders with the outcomes that you get, right? If they do not have a certain percentage of DEI hire, if they do not have a certain promotion system, succession system in place for people from the DEI community, they lose out on their bonuses and checks. So if you do it that way, then DEI becomes a culture because leadership has to get behind DEI and drive it forward, right?
Right.
It cannot be like I am from Harvard, that's why I accept only people from Harvard. I'm from IITs, I accept people only from IITs. I have a physical disability, so I only accept people with physical disability. It cannot be that way, right? It has to be all inclusive. And when we look at inclusion, as of now, the global narrative is going against DEI, but India has its own form of, welcoming people into the fold, and India has always been a country which welcomes diverse people. Vasudeva Kutumbakam has been our motto, and I think it is time that the companies embrace the Bharatiya culture.
Sure, absolutely. Beautifully put, Sumit. So the idea is to getting rid of the biases and all the reservations and becoming all inclusive. That's when it's going to make a real difference and add value to the business and people. So thank you so much for your insights. My next question, Sumit, is how can leaders use data, dialogue, and platforms like LinkedIn to amplify diverse voices without falling into tokenism?
See, data is something which anchors DEI, right? I, for example, if I ask a Fortune 500 company CEO, right, how many people do you have with neurodiversity or autism, or people who say that they have some form of ADHD? They don't have an answer, right? Because they're like, मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था, मैंने कभी इस बारे में सोचा नहीं, जो है वो है. But if the conversation becomes that जो है वो है, then what happens is systems start failing. Why does that happen? If you don't know that people are facing these problems, you don't build architecture and systems for them. You don't design products for them. So that's where the failing starts, right? So data has to be, the main anchor point which you have to be able to take decisions on DEI, right? If I build a fountain in the middle of a desert and believe that people will come and drink water from there, people might not use that fountain, right? I am somebody who, for example, if a petroleum company, they are building a offshore plant which is accessible, right? But people with disabilities might not prefer to work on a offshore accessible plant. That might be the case, right? If I build a ship, if I build a navy ship uh, which is a merchant ship, which is fully accessible for wheelchairs, are people with physical disabilities or any kind of disabilities ready to spend 6 months at sea? So you'll have to look at what kind of roles are people interested in. For years, India's philosophy has been build good products and people will buy it, right? This rarely happens. If we look at other economies which are, a little bit more advanced in terms of GDP than us, right? We look at that they built products which people actually desire, which is actually there in the market, and people are demanding such kind of products. So
Right.
that's where the real challenge is. You have to find what people want. You have to see what people are looking for, then anchor your data point. And then when you amplify those kind of dialogues through LinkedIn, through platforms like LinkedIn, what actually happens is you invite other people to share their voice, you invite other people to collaborate, you inspire other people to create, and then you also make some space for them.
Right.
This happens where you make a collective voice.
Sure, very well said, Sumit. Firstly, data anchors the DEI. Understanding the problem statement, that is what will lead you to create solutions for your people. And also, people will relate if their problems are addressed and they'll start blooming if you create that ecosystem where people are heard, where they are seen and valued. So, very well said, Sumit. Thank you so much. Moving to the next question. What role does personal storytelling and professional visibility play in building inclusive ecosystems beyond the workplace?
See, again, if I look at my own personal journey, right, I have been rejected by 30 schools and I have been rejected by multiple MNCs and I've shared it across multiple platforms, right, even international platforms, right? And somewhere, I believe that my story gave other people the permission to dream big, right? So they think people with disabilities, right, or women from marginalized backgrounds, they think you need permission to dream, right? When they hear my kind of stories, right, there are a lot of people like me who have struggled and who have made it somewhere in life, right? So when you hear my story, you think that okay, if this guy can do it, it's not about idealizing a person, it's not about inspiration. It's about, okay, I have examples in front of me. What happens is, if you are not into storytelling, right? For example, somebody wants to work at a HR association and they haven't seen a woman in a HR association, they don't see you, right? So they don't know if being a woman, they can work in a HR association and build a network or not. Right? Most of the networks are male driven. Right? Most of the networking groups are also male driven. Right? So this gives them permission to dream big. And okay, woman driven networks are also there. Right? For example, HRAI is doing such a wonderful work. Its founder is doing such a wonderful work. And it is a moment-driven platform, right? So, if you look at these kind of stories, it gives you the permission to build on something. It gives you examples that, okay, I am there, I have come and done it. Now you can also take it one step further. So,
Absolutely. It's great how you can take inspiration from storytelling. You reflect upon yourself, you see different examples, and I personally believe that you can take motivation from just anything around the corner, just and also some beautiful examples that you mentioned. So it's how you see things, it's how you put yourself into the shoes of others and realize if they can do it, why can't I? So thank you so much for bringing that up. This brings us to the last question, Sumit, which is if organizations had to focus on just one DEI lever over the next 12 months, which one would create the maximum impact and why?
I think if we look at DEI as a whole concept, right, there's a lot of hiring, there's a lot of rules being made for DEI without giving them any actual power, right? I, for example, if you are the DEI head for a IT company, right, and I tell you, Nehaji, that you are the DEI head for this company, but you have 1,000 employees under you and your budget is 5 lakhs a month. Do whatever you want with this 5 lakhs a month. Will it be able to impact 1,000 people? So there's a lot of tokenism where that we have our DEI cells, we have ERGs, we have when you talk to these company heads, they don't have the budgets. When you talk to these ERGs, they are just bleeding dry because they don't have funds. They don't have self-sustaining projects. I think these DEI cells should have self-sustaining projects. It should be funded enough to give them that initial push. Um, if we focus on one DEI thing is empowering the DEI heads themselves with budgets, right? If you don't give your money and if you just give your best wishes, I don't think any company would have been made with best wishes only. It needs money, right? So, I think enough of tokenism. I think it's time to put your money where your agenda really is. Like,
Sure. Sure. Thank you,
yeah,
Sumit. Very powerful takeaway there. This brings us to the end of this masterclass, Sumit, and thank you so much for sharing your insights. You have actually reinforced an important truth that DEI creates value when it is moved beyond intention and just awareness. It actually adds value when it is embedded in strategy, leadership behavior, and everyday actions. So, thank you so much for your insights, like always.
my pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you, Neha.
Thank you, sir. See you.